On the 21st of June 2021 at 1600 hours and 4 minutes GMT BST, the questioner planned to visit the local laundrette for the purposes of washing their clothes. They asked the following question: who will I meet at that place today? The number of syllables prevalent within the questioner's speech pattern as they asked the question generated a number sequence of 432. According to KhemAstroMath Horary philosophy, the number sequence of 432 generates a ascendant that is between 210 degrees to 240 degrees absolute longitude, which translates to the tropical sign of Scorpio. This is the chart that was generated as a result. The delineational prediction is as follows. When you enter the laundrette, you will encounter a man who is from a foreign location, long distance or overseas, and also has a foreign accent. This man will also be of bulky build or heavy set or on the chubby side. The sun represents this man. Okay, the sun represents the man, and the sun is the lord of the place of the lord of the six. The six represents the laundrette, and the lord of the six, Mars, also represents the laundrette, and Mars is the lord of the first. The first being the representation of the questioner. So Mars represents the laundry and also represents the questioner. And the lord of Mars is the sun, which represents the man. And that's why they are joined together and why one indicates the other. Now, the sun is joined with Venus. Venus is the lord of the third from the place of the lord of the sixth. And the third house represents, the third sector represents communication. And the fact that the lord of the third from the place of the lord of the sixth is in the ninth, joined with the sun, means that his accent will be foreign, because the ninth represents foreign places. Now, the sun, as well as Venus, is in the exaltation of Jupiter. Jupiter represents someone that is heavyset, someone who has a bulky build, or someone who is large in stature and has a large bodily disposition. The sun and Venus being in exaltation of Jupiter also is the testimony that the man will be heavy set. Now, Jupiter is also the lord of the sixth from the place of the sun, the sixth representing sickness, and could also be used to represent health. All right. Now, therefore, this man may be heavy set and it may be affecting his health. All right. Now, I also delineated that this man will be experiencing some difficulty, financial difficulty, in terms of utilizing the machines in the laundrette. This is because he will be unsure as to how the machines actually function and operate. By declination, Mercury, is in Leo, which is the second from the place of the sun, and the 12th part of Mercury is in the radical second sector, the radical second house, and Mercury is also the lord of the second from the place of the lord of the sixth. The second house, second sector, represents money, anything to do with a financial situation. So those three testimonies point to the fact that this man will have issues to do with money, because the 12th part of Mercury is in the radical second in detriment, representing frustration that the man will have when it comes to money. All right. Now, on another testimony to indicate that the man will have issues with money is the fact that the sun is joined with Venus. Venus is the lord of the 11th. 11th house is hopes, dreams, wishes, and also represents money as well. The 11th from the place of the sun, whose lord is Venus, contains Uranus. Uranus represents machines, technology, the machines within the laundrette. The 12th part of Venus, which is the lord of the 11th, the 12th part of Venus is in detriment in the 6th. And Venus is the lord of the second from the 6th. the second representing money of the laundrette, and Uranus representing the machine that is going to be utilized within the laundrette itself. All right. So Venus being in the 12th part of Venus being in detriment in the 6th, and the 12th part of Mercury being in detriment in the 2nd, and Mercury being the lord of the 2nd from the place of the lord of the 6th, represents issues to do with money. Mercury being joined to the dragon's head at Tanin represents some confusion to do with money. Mercury being in the 12th from the place of the sun representing the man, and Mercury being the 12th from the place of the sun means something hidden from his understanding of how the machine actually works. On top of this, the dragon's head, who is joined with Mercury, the dragon's head, the 12th part of the dragon's head, is in Virgo, which is the 2nd from the place of the lord of the 6th. Another testimony that there will be some type of confusion when it comes to utilizing the laundrette due to financial issues, because the dragon's head represents confusion. Now, on top of this, the dragon's head being joined with Mercury, and Mercury being the lord of the 3rd from the place of the sun, means that he will communicate his confusion to the person who is asking the question. How do we know that this will be the case? We know that this will be the case because Mercury is the lord of the 3rd from the place of the sun, joined with the dragon's head, and the 12th part of the dragon's head is in the 3rd from the place of the sun, and the 3rd from the place of the sun is the 2nd from the lord of the ascendant, who also happens to be the lord of the 6th. As a result of this, the sun and Venus representing the man speaking his foreign accent, and the sun are activated, and therefore him speaking activates Mercury, which activates the 3rd from the sun and activates the dragon's head, because the 12th part of the dragon's head is in the 3rd from the sun and in the 2nd from Mars. Money, speaking about money. These two houses, the 9th as well as the 11th, being activated, thus creates an overhead sextile and activates the 10th, which is the place of the lord of the 1st, who also happens to be the lord of the 6th. This then activates the person asking the question and makes them feel some type of obligation to give this man some help. Now, on top of this, due to the fact that the 9th and the 11th are activated and create an overhead sextile and activates Mars, which is the lord of the ascendant and the lord of the 6th, this then activates the opposite house. The opposite house from the 10th, which is the place of Mars, is the 4th, where Saturn is. Now Saturn is activated. Saturn is the lord of the 8th from the place of the sun. The 8th being other people's money, debt, money being utilized. Okay. Now, on top of this, the 12th part of Saturn is in the 9th, joined with the sun and Venus. The sun representing the man and Venus representing the communication that the man is going to have, and Saturn being the lord of the 8th, money, other people's money, debt. And by declination, because Saturn is retrograde, so by declination, Saturn is in the 1st, okay, which gives some type of work, Saturn representing work, some type of work is passed over to the person asking the question, because by declination, Saturn is in the 1st, and the 1st is ruled by Mars. So therefore Mars is being activated and has some type of obligation to help this man to understand what is actually going on. Now, 12th part of Mars is in the 3rd from the place of himself. Yeah, so the 12th part of Mars is in Libra, which is the exaltation of Saturn, with the 12th part of Saturn being in Cancer, and by declination, Saturn being in the 1st. All right, so everything is pointing back towards this 9th house, 9th sector. All right, So, and also on top of this, the moon is the lord of the ninth and is also in full in the first. The moon emotion being in full means the questioner will feel some type of obligation as a result of feeling an emotional obligation to help this man to understand how to operate the machines within the laundrette. Now, there's more that can be added here, but I will stop here. I'm sure you get the picture. The conclusion is as follows. As the questioner went into the laundrette, shortly after they entered, a man entered the laundrette shortly afterwards. And this man was of a large bodily disposition on the chubby side and of a bulky build. He was carrying with him lots of money bags of loose coins. He was unsure as to how to operate the machines within the laundrette. So he asked the questioner for some assistance in terms of how much it costs to utilize the machines, how to operate the machines, etc., etc. And the questioner assisted this man in terms of utilizing the machines within the laundrette. On top of this, the man also possessed a foreign accent. This is the ThaBadbrey Herbalist Asar, ancient astrologer and astronomical mathematician of the Committee of Ancient Astronomical Mathematics, courtesy of the ThaBadbreyHerbal.co.uk. Hakamanajum, Dendra.